take one and give my wife. She likes all these things. Thank you.
I just printed out 3 caricatures out of tens of thousands. They're self-explanatory and the time is very short. There was... maybe you see it? You see the top one? What is your opinion about food shortage in the rest of the world? The African says, what does food mean? The European says, what does shortage mean? The American says, what does the rest of the world mean? And the Arab says, what does opinion mean? Now, there was in the 80s, it was very strong, this theory. It was this theory that goes like this, that the world population is expanding, and that the food production is lagging behind the world population, and therefore there has to result in major wars. There's going to be a shortage of food, a shortage of fresh water, there's going to be a shortage of energy, a shortage of resources. Just like you see now in Puerto Rico, there's already reports coming out, people vandalizing stores, grabbing potato chips bags that are full of sand, just opening them up, stealing them from stores and just trying to be machayin nefashos to their children. So the theory was that they're going to be, at that point, there was 2 billion people, so there's going to be 4 billion, there's going to be 8 billion, be 12 billion, and the food production, impossible. So there's going to have to be major war that's going to go on, because as we know, wars are always because of scarce resources or the perception of scarce resources. Unfortunately, the perception is worse than the problem itself, and that's what causes major war. The bottom line is, you do a big mitzvah to society if you have less children. So, Baruch Hashem, the Eibusha Gehol from the Europeans took it to heart. Top of that, it's very convenient not to have children. You can enjoy a life and it's much easier, or that's what it looks like at least. So, Europeans had much less children.
That's why the Chinese had the law that they have?
And the Chinese is a little slightly different. The Chinese is also for this reason, and it's because they're communists. So But on the other hand, there is an opposite belief, an opposite truth, which is also true, which is that a country that has a lot of young children, the young children could work while the older people retire. Social Security could work. But if for every 2 people that are getting old, maybe there is 1 child or maybe a half a child, you have an imploding society. So what happened in Europe? So where people had less children, so they didn't have enough workers, so they invited people from the Middle East. Now they're imploding. Other countries, so for example, Russia are very tough. They don't tolerate Muslims. So, but they're imploding. Their economy is falling apart. Recently, Russia declared there's a day in the year there's a national holiday. What's that day? That day is the couple's day. You're supposed to go home with your wife and try to make her pregnant. Pashat k'mashmoy. They don't have enough children. So Arabs are not taking in. Children they're not having. The Social Security, as tiny as it is, they can't afford to pay it, because then the society is imploding. So which one are you supposed to do? On the one hand, they do a big mitzvah. You have less kids, but there's scarce resources in the world. So you're doing a taiva for the whole world by having less children. On the other hand, in order for the world to develop, you need more workers. For every 2 people that are getting older, you need 4 people to work, and people are getting older and they're living longer. They stop working at 65 and they're living to 95. So what's the end? Besides so the going theory is, and I picked 3 caricatures. One is a caricature, one is a satire, and one is a whole scientific explanation of how how today's world is going to come to one big explosion. And the bottom line is that the theory is that the world doesn't have enough resources, and the bottom line is there's not enough food, not enough water, not enough fresh water, not enough energy, and therefore there's going to be an explosion. So the truth is that you see that none of that predictions happen. What is happening? They're starting to figure out what a pool the size of this room could, in natural waters, could hold 50 fish, and today a pool the size of this room could hold 5,000 fish, if not 10,000 fish. True, it's not perfect, and raising fish has its problems, and genetically modified crops have its problems, but they're constantly working on it. The fact is that the more people there is in the world, the more resources in this world, and they're not true that that there is not enough food. Fakir, there is enough food. There's more food today. The studies that show that the regular household 50 years ago spent close to 50% of their income on food, and today it's less than 20% of their income because food is cheap. Food is cheap. The reason there's famine in places of the world is not because food is not cheap. It's because it's being mismanaged. Because there's chaos. So let's look at the Rambam's opinion on this.
I read somewhere that average American family throws out 400 pounds of food a year.
Right. It's incredible because food is cheap. Because food is cheap. So let's look at the last halachas in the Rambam, and we're going to go on to the first Siyum Rambam that the Rebbe ever said. The remarkable thing with the Rebbe's Siyum Rambam was that they got deeper and deeper and deeper. You think you already said a Siyum Rambam, you said all the chidushim you could, so the next year you scrape to the bottom of the barrel. The first Siyum that Rambam the Rebbe ever said was not bad. Next year they got deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and so it went from 1985 Tavshin Memhei until Tavshin Nun Beis. This is the first Siyum Rambam the Rebbe ever said, which was 36 cycles ago. Let's learn the Rambam. It's on the front page. The last two halachas in Hilchos Malachim. Lo nisava chachamim v'hanavim yemois Mashiach. They did not have a desire, the chachamim and neviim, for the days of Mashiach. Lo kedei sheyishlotu kol ha'olam, not in order to have dominion of the entire world. No, that wasn't the reason, even though that's true. Lo kedei sheyirdu ba'akim, not that they should have dominion over the goyim. V'lo kedei she'inasu ha'isam ha'amim, not that the nations of the world will exalt them, although that's true. V'lo kedei lechel v'lishtas v'lasmoyach, and not in order to eat and drink and to be happy. Those are true, but that's not the reason why they desire the days of Mashiach. Elo kedei she'pnuyim b'toyra b'chachmasai, that their mind should be vacant and they should have no other worries, only Torah and the Chachma. V'loyem noiges and mavatal, they shouldn't have anything that's pressing them and disturbing them from learning Torah. Kedei she'yiskel l'chayel ha'mabah, in order from that they will be zoichet l'chayel ha'mabah. K'masher be'ayarnu b'ilchos tshuva, the Rambam's opinion in Chos Tshuva is that the ultimate is not Yemois HaMashiach, but Olam Haba that comes after Yemois HaMashiach. And the Rambam explains in Hilchos Tshuva that how can a person learn when there's war in the world? You have daigas. How could a person learn if he has to pay his bills at the end of the month? So he gets up early in the morning, and like in Israel, they have the signs, Kan Ovdim, Metzei Sachama, Atzei Sanashama. So they skip to the head of the line. But how does a person have time to sit and learn? A person has fadaiget, and if there's wars in the world, he's more fadaiget. So therefore, the Eibishter is going to make there should be an abundance of good in the world, and a person should be healthy. So the Mele will have time to be pone b'toyra b'chachmas. That's halacha dal, halacha hey. U'biyoisei azman, at that time, lo yiyeh sham, there will not be in the world, lo yirov v'lo mechamed, there will be no famine and there will be no war. V'lo kina v'tachrus, not jealousy and rivalry. The good will be in abundance, and all delicacies offer will be available like dust. And there will not be the business of the entire world only to know Hashem. Ulefikach, and therefore Yisrael Chachamim Gedolim, the Jews will be great scholars. V'yedim Medarim Asturim, they know hidden things. V'yasigu das Boydem, they'll know the das of the Eibishter. Kivikoyach Adam as much as a person could. Shenem, as it says in the pasuk, Kam all heart is Hashem. The knowledge of Hashem will fill the world. Kamaim li'machasim, like the water fills the ocean. So the Rebbe first explains like this, very simple, that there's no extra word in the Rambam. Shnaim Shem Arba. Rav Melchama Kina V'Tachlis are two that are really four things. When there's famine, there is war. When there's jealousy, there's rivalry. The Rambam says after that, not V'Hatoiva Yitia Mishpas Arba, Shehatoiva with a shin. Why will there not be Rav Melchama Kina V'Tachlis? Because there will be an abundance of good. The prediction that this world will have an explosion, there has to be major wars, is because there will not be enough water, fresh water, there will not be enough food, there will not be enough energy. But if hatoiva tiyeh mishpas arba, there will be enough food. It's not, because they're thinking in the 1980s, all these, as I said, these three caricatures, the caricature or the satire or the scientific study, they're all based on what they knew in the 80s. How agriculture is happening in the 80s. But if this same acre of land could give you 100 times of the produce, all your charts are way off. So big deal, there will be 3 times the amount of humanity. But this piece of earth that you think could give you 25 tomatoes, could give you 10,000 tomatoes. You're off. There's enough tomatoes for waste. Not that will be 20% of the income will be for food, 2% of the income will go for food. And income will not be hard to get. So therefore, it's a mistake. The Rebbe is medayik and the Rambam that the Shnaim keneged Shnaim. The Rambam says, why? Still, if there's no famine and war, there could still be jealousy and rivalry. Say Americans are not hungry. They're not hungry. Is there no jealousy in the United States of America? If people are not hungry, are they not jealous? But yeah, he has a nicer job, a nicer house, a nicer car, a nicer vacation, or there's a perception that he has. We always think that the grass is green on the other side. So there's a perception that it's nicer. So shaykh, there should still be jealousy and rivalry. But if kol hamadanim matsuim ka'ofar, Mashiach will come, delicacies will be ka'ofar like dust. And we spoke about this once, that the Alter Rebbe is medayik. Why is it that when we do bedikas chometz, we say that this chometz is hefker ka'afra da'ara, like the sand and the earth? Which other sand do you think? The sand and the moon? Why does it have to say ka'afra da'ara? The Alter Rebbe answers because it says afra zahavloi, that there is a zohav that's called offer. No, it's ka'afra da'ara, mamish, this chometz has no chashivas to me. So when Mashiach will come, delicacies will be available. It won't be expensive. Fragwag is unterheit, $1.50 a pound. But who wants it? It's a gate in the linke piata. That's not what's going to be exciting to human beings. That's not today what is exciting to a person. Fashion, entertainment, sports. So b'meila, people pay money to buy tickets to go watch a show, to go watch a game, to go to a restaurant. But if it's madanim mitzuyim, but it's ke'ofar, it has no chashivus. Person is hungry, so they eat healthy food. But it's not that's not the whole koch. It's ke'ofar, it's ka'afra da'ara. So why would I be jealous? If it's no chashivus to me, are you jealous that the other block has another 3 stray cats? My block, there's a lot of stray cats. There's a lady who takes good care of them. Are you jealous of me? Was geht on the linke piata? Yeah, we have one here even now. Well, who cares? Okay, 2-3 cats in a block is enough to scare away the mice. You don't need 7, 8, or 9. So you wouldn't be jealous of me that I tell you in my block that there's cats all over. It's no big deal. So the same thing here. When when we say that there's medana mitzuyim, it's ka'offer. So it's shnayim keneged shnayim. So the Rambam says, lo yesham, lo yirava, lo yimilchama, why? Shatoivatia mishpas harba. So that's not true, the predictions that the world is going to explode. The population will grow, and it will grow gewaldig, exponentially. And however, the resources will grow, and they will figure out a way how to feed the population, and there will not be famine, and there will not be war. There'll still be jealousy and rivalry. It won't be, because kol hamadanim mitzuyim ka'offer. So now the question is, people have to be excited about something in life. If they're not excited about sports, they're not excited about entertainment, and they're not excited about fashion, and they're not excited about food. They have all the above, but that's not their passion in life. So what is their passion? What are they living for? It's not that they're living to learn Torah and do mitzvahs. Huh? So why does the Rambam have to continue? And it continues in the strongest way. V'lo ye'esa kol ha'olam, v'lo ye'ela is always likuva. Toy says likuva. The Rambam said everything. What does the Rambam moise? We already understand the diuk in the first two lines. There'll be no famine and there'll be no war. There won't be no jealousy and rivalry. These two things. Why? Because there'll be an abundance of good. So that's it. Why does it have to continue? What does it mean? And Rambam adds belad. And what does it mean that in the chum gedolim? And what's the dvorim astumim that you're going to know? What secrets? The secrets of the Harambam. What secret? What's the secret that's boinim k'vikoyach adam? What would you think? K'vikoyach hamalochim? What would you think? And what is he trying to bring? In the pasuk in Hilchot Shuvah, he only brings the beginning of the pasuk, and here he brings also kalimayim layom machasam. It's enough to know. K'mo Lord Tzdeis Hashem. The Rebbe explains like this: when a person's chayas is in kedusha, it could be in two ways. Let's talk in learning Torah. A person could learn Torah in order to know what to do. Because if you don't learn, how do you know what to do? A person medayak mitzvahs, so he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know. So you have to know in order to know what to do. In a broader sense, there's b'chol derech echadei, b'chol masach l'Hashem shemayim. That I do business like a yid does. I don't cheat. Why? Because I believe that Hashem provides, and I'm nice to other people. Because I believe that people have tzelem alakim, and therefore I'm nice to people and I don't stab them in the back. I don't talk lashon hara because I believe that the world is not a jungle. So I make a kiddush Hashem, and in B'chlal Yidden make an incredible kiddush Hashem in the world. Yidden are the conscience of the world.
In Mexico, the Israelis weren't there.
Right, exactly. Before the Americans get to think, the Israelis were there already. It's a tiny country. They couldn't write the name of the country on the map. And they have Tzoras Ibn Kop. They were in Mexico. They were there already. America's right over the border. Huge country. Billionen. They were not there. Yidden make it. Yidden care.
Big wall. It's over the wall.
That's a big wall. They didn't build it yet, but it's already, they're thinking of the wall. They're already thinking of it. Yidden.
It's a beautiful door.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a model of it already.
Exactly. If wherever you go in the world, it's Yidden. If you go to Africa, places, favor from the places, who are the people that are on the ground that are helping people? If you go to South America, you go to places, remote places. Everywhere. And Yidden, if you go into remote places of the world, you happen to land in any remote, you end up everywhere in the world. Who do you bump in if you see relief workers? You can always assume over 50% of the time there's a Yiddish people. They're Yidden, all over the world. Because Yidden really make a Kiddush Hashem, really the Yidden care. So that is an asik of Kiddush Hashem. So therefore there is an asik in the world besides Limud HaTorah V'Kiyum HaMitzvos, which is to make it, to do asik in a way of making a Kiddush Hashem. The Rambam writes in Hilchos Talmud Torah, a person shouldn't assume that he's going to learn Torah his whole life and let others support him, because that's the opposite of a Kiddush Hashem. A person should do a little bit of asik, and the rest of the time they should learn Torah. The Rambam says when Mashiach will come, because a person's not going to have to even work a little. So when you have to work 3 hours a day, The rest of the day you learn. But 3 hours a day you work. The Rambam describes it. A person, the perfect person that Rambam describes, he works 3 hours a day and he learns another 9 hours a day. I don't know when he talks to his wife, when he takes care of the kids. I don't know if he ever does anything.
12 hours a day.
Huh?
Just 12 hours a day.
Just 12 hours of this. 3 hours he works, 9 hours he learns, and
12 hours.
the 12 hours he has free for himself. So, but that time, because we said in the previous halacha that the goyim are going to elevate the Yidden, and therefore they're going to take care of the Yidden. So the Yidden are going to not have to work even for 1 minute. So lo ye'esa kol ha'olam ela l'das Hashem belvad. That they're only going to do, their only business of a Yid is going to be in kedusha, to infuse the world with kedusha, not by working in the world, but by learning Torah.
What's his Esek?
What is Asik? So Rebbe has a murder to get diuk. The Gemara says, Zobim ve'izbim v'tagidik. If a person buys and sells, is he a merchant? No. You're only a merchant if you make money. If you're buying and selling, but you're not making money, if there's no serious profit, if you're not turning a profit, you're buying, he's selling, he's selling, he's buying, he's copying deals, but he's not making major profit, that's not called a soichet. A soichet is a person that makes a profit.
Everybody thinks they're on Amazon.
What does say? If they're the CEO of Amazon, does say it's a soichet. The other ones, they're not a soichet. So, because the Alter Rebbe says they're learning the Torah, the Alter Rebbe, there's a lotion that the Alter Rebbe was talking about. Shimon Bechai was in the cave. The Alter Rebbe, what was he doing the whole time? To learn the whole Torah. It took him so long. And in a few months, he kechaz over the whole Torah. It's nothing. And kechaz over. Old Meforshim asked, "What do you mean Torah is so deep?" Alter Rebbe, in a few months, he kechaz over the whole Torah. The Rebbe says if a person never has shikha, never forgets. You know, you have stories of Gedolei Yisrael. When they were children, when they were bar mitzvah, they read Messiah Shas. The Alter Rebbe, when he was 18 years old, said Messiah Shas 12 times. So what Tzaddik said, they said other Gedolei Yisrael, Messiah Shas 30 times when they were bar mitzvahs. And the Alter Rebbe said, but my Zayda, when he was 18 years old, he finished Shas 12 times. It was Yena 12 times. It was more, it was Be'ein Aroich to other. You know what it means? The Alter Rebbe finished Shas 12 times when he was 18 years old. But when Mashiach will come, every single Yid is going to be on that level, and there'll be no shikha. That's a pshat kefi koyach odom. What does it mean kefi koyach odom? Scientists show that the people use a very small fraction of their brain. They say that the person came you could do brain surgery. They came to a doctor. I'm not going to say the whole joke. But the guy came into the lab. I could change your brain whatever you want. So he says, this is a Jewish brain. How much is it? $100,000. This brain, Chinese, $200,000. This, I'm not going to say what the doctor said. A certain group of people. He said, how much is it? $1 million. He said, what, $1 million? He said, the guy never used it once. So they say that people are not using their brain. So when Mashiach will come, the people are going to use their brain. So therefore, the learning Torah is not going to be to know what to do. Because everyone's going to, in a short time, they're going to learn the whole Torah and know what to do. So what are they going to learn? They'll learn Torah in order to go deeper in the Torah. Lahagdil Torah v'yadir. The lefikach Yisrael chachamim gedolim. Lahagdil Torah. To make agdol in Torah. To be machadash chidushim. To go deeper in the Torah. That's what Shav lo yeisa kol olam ala das Hashem belvad. It's not only going to be kol masechel Hashem Shemayim kol echad eyu. No, it's going to be poshet only ladas Hashem belvad. And therefore, the Yidden will learn Torah in the way of Chachamim Gedolim. V'yodim dorim astumim. They're going to be megala the deep things in the Torah. And not only that, v'yasigu das bardam, they'll know the das of the Eibishter, then using out the whole koyach adam. Shenem, as it says in Gepasa, Kamol Lord is Deis Hashem, the world will be filled with Deis Hashem. Why does the Rambam add Kalimayim Le'yom Nechasim? So there's a moshel of Rabbi Akiva and the fish in the water. He said that to Papas Ben Yehuda that you see that the fish can't live without water. But Chassidus brings even more that there's a machloikus in the Mishnah, in the Kvos and Yadayim. There's Shittas Rem Gamliel Kol Shebiyam Choitzitz. that if you're in any fish, if a fish is touching me, is not choitzitz. It's not choitzitz. Because if it's from the yam, it's not choitzitz. There is a moiridik tshuva, and I mentioned it once in a shir. There's in the Sefer Taras Mayim from Nissan Tajlushkin. Helf the Eibishti has a grandson that comes here now in the shul. Interesting fellow. So Nissan was moiridik kop. And there was a woman came, she had a brain surgery. And he was from the Grosser Rabbonim in America back then. And the doctor said she can't go into a pool of water. So that meant she can't go to mikveh. So she's asura labayla. What should she do? So he wrote a tshuva and he sent it to the Chazon Ish. And he prints it in the back of his sefer in the Taras Mayim. So he had this whole thing that they would make a leather from a fish. It's a type of fish that not the salmon fish. It's an alligator, something that has a din of a dog. I'm not sure if alligator is machlal, but whatever, a dog that has the din of a dog, and they take that skin and make it and have it a cap on her head that would be tight, that would not be able to be penetrated by a drop of water. And yois kol shebayam toher, it's not chachatzitza, so she'd be able to be toher. Anyway,
Even after it's skinned and everything?
yeah. The Lamaisa, the Chazon Ish wasn't masking to it. I'm just showing you at kedekach what was the yeah. So therefore, that's a pshat that in the water, the things that live in the water and the water are not two metzias. There is the water. It's not the pshat that the fish can only live in the water. If the fish will go out of the water, he'll die. The fish in the water, it's not only the pshat that he'll die. It's not only pshat. If you look at the ocean, you don't see there's onas of bruim, but all you see is water. The whole chayas of the fish is water. The fish and the water are the same thing. Therefore, the fish can't be a chatzitza because the metzias of the fish is the metzias of the water. So when Mashiach will come, it's not only that there's going to be a yid. There'll be me plus the learning Torah. There'll be me plus spirituality. I did a lot of mitzvahs today. Can I go now out with my wife and enjoy life a little bit? It's not going to be shaykh. The Yid is not going to say that. That's going to be my chayes. That's going to be my whole chayes. That is going to be my chayes. Going out with my wife and learning the latest mimer is going to be my chayes. Doesn't mean I'm not going to go out to a restaurant. I'm sure I'm going to go, but it's going to be mitzvim ka'ofar. That's not going to be the geschmack in life. Exactly. That's going to be very geschmack. So that's the pshat kamayim. That's the pshat kamayim layom mechasa. And
finish with yum yum yum.
yeah. So Mela will be mekatza now. This brings us to the Hilchas Yisodei Torah, which is as Shmulik said that Yisodei said the Chacham is the Rambam was meramas the Yud Kei Vav Kei, and he said later Sheisha Motzei Rishon that we have to know that there is something which is the Motzei that's in this world, that's Rishon, which is the Eibishter, who mamtzi kol animtzoyim. And Moira de Kediyuk, the Rebbe says, not who himtza kol nimtza, not he, that this Eibishter, we said Molor is Deus Hashem, which laid the Shia Shemot Tzirishon. It's not the Pshat who himtzi the Eibishter already created, who mamtzi, he is creating. He already created. What's Pshat he is creating right now? It's Meramas, what the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, in Shari Yichad V'Emuna, Perek Aleph and Beis, that the Eibishter recreates the world b'chol rega v'rega. So once we first learn that whole Harambam, when we come to the second cycle, we understand that on a deeper level, that Kemolor is Deya, Leida. We understand that it's Mamtzik kol nimtza, not Himtzik kol nimtza. Mamtzik v'chol nimtzoyim. So therefore, kol nimtzoyim, ma'ashamayim, ha'aretz, ma'ashem b'neim, li'yimintzah, elam emitzah, emotzah. So we see that everything is filled with the Eibishter. So it's not that there is the world and the Eibishter. If the Eibishter recreates it, it's mamash kayam ma'im liyom chasim. Mashiach will come. The whole world will koch in this. This is going to be the koch of the whole world. So it's not only that there won't be Rov Melcham Mekina V'Tachlis because there's going to be a lot of Madanim. And not only the Madanim will be Tzuim Ka'ofar. That would be a boring life. Life is going to be moedic exciting. It's just that whatever we think today is exciting will then be boring. and things that we think today are quite boring will then be very, very exciting to us in the most spectacular way. Neighbors will help them that we're coming now from 36. What's so special about 36? Poshet, Aloch and Harambam and Gemara, Ksuvas, Kedushin, that if a person we don't know if he's a Godel or not, we don't know. We don't know Simon, we don't know. We don't know. Is he mature? Is he got seichel? Is he not got seichel? We don't know if he has seichel or not. But once he's already past the age 35, he's going into the year 36 of his life. So he said by now he's a Godel. Still by now he has a little bit of seichel. So we go from so 2 times chai. So we're going from the first historic Siyum Harambam, which is
That's what I'm holding.
That's what you're holding.
Went from 35 to 36.
Oh, so you're a Godel now. So all Klal Yisrael is now that are learning Harambam for 36 times. So we're going into a level of Yechachomim Gedolim. We're going into the level of godless. And it's remarkable that Hashgacha Elyono made it, that the first Siyum Harambam is at Yud Aleph Nisan, and this is Siyum Harambam at Vav Tishrei. So now all we need is to become Chacham Gedolim. Now we're going into godless. So with Mashiach, the Eibush shall help him, we should come, we should all have Bezoicha this year, and Tavshin Ayin Ches, Eis Cheder Seinu, it should be Ayin Chai, and Ayin Chai in both Pshatim, that we should Bezoicha Taka to Mashiach Tzidkenu, B'mheira B'yameinu.